呪術廻戦
All right, here we go with chapter 259 of Jujutsu Kaisen, part 31 of the Jingai Makkyo Shinjuku Kessen, the decisive battle in the demonic uninhabited region of Shinjuku. We're starting in a flashback with this, which is like more history of Itadori's training in the period before the fight. And we're starting with Choso talking here, and he's saying, Byakuren no kotsu ka? The trick or technique, the knack of Byakuren? And we saw Byakuren before. This ren is an unusual kanji. Literally means to tighten or stiffen. So this is like 100 stiffenings or 100 tightenings. I forget what we called it back then. I think I maybe just kept calling it 100 stiffenings. The English went with convergence for some reason. And if you look at sort of the words that the ren appears in, okay, astringency, convergent evolution, heavy taxation, meh. But anyway, yeah, it could be like, right? I mean, blood flow is the secret to some stiffening that happens. So maybe that's it. And that would be Choso's domain. Anyway, let's just move on from that. By the way, this is going to be a very talky chapter. It's going to be very dialogue heavy. This is going to be a long one. So buckle in. Irekaya Shugyo wa Kusakabe sensei to Okotsu senpai de kiematta kara. Sekketsu soujutsu wa jimichi ni yaran to. This is really small. Okay. So as for the what do they call this? Replacement exchange training with teacher Kusakabe and with senpai Okotsu. So they again talked about doing this replacement exchange training with Kusakabe and Okotsu. So as for that, because it's been decided, because it's been decided he's going to do that with them. As for red blood manipulation technique or red blood control technique, like I guess this is some sort of way if don't do. So this is an implied double negative, meaning I gotta do jimichi, which is I gotta do it steadily, honestly, straightforwardly. Okay. とはいえ、期間は一月、アドバイスはどんどんくれ。Okay. And I guess like, and saying that, とはいえ, yeah, so be that as it may, as for the time period, 1 month of advice, bit by bit, do the favor of giving. So I guess like, don just means like bit by bit, right? Or, oh no, rapidly or steadily. I guess he's saying, do the favor of giving me rapidly advice in 1 month for the time period. So they didn't have a lot of time for him to be training before the fight with Gojo's fight with Sukuna. Okay, so he's here to learn the red blood manipulation from Choso and this whole Byakuren thing. Byakuren wa sora so yo sora are yo. Boon. Okay, as for the 100 stiffenings, that way. Sora are, that thing. Okay, so he's like swinging, boon. Almost like a bat. And he's saying like, it's like that. It's that way. It's like that thing. Omae majika? You serious? Like, are you serious here? Are you real? Oyu ni tsukaru toki, jinwari to netsu ga hirogatte iku, ano kankaku ni chikae kamoshirenai na. Okay, so in hot water, the time of tsukaru, like stepping into, being submerged in, being pickled in. So like the time of being submerged in hot water and the heat, jinwari, gradually spreading and going. That sensation approaching probably. Okay, so that's how he's describing what this 100 stiffenings byakuren is like. Probably approaches that sensation of the spreading of heat, gradual heat, the time that you get submerged in hot water. Netsu no you ni kekkan o nobashite karada no rinkaku o tsukuru imeiji da. Okay, so in the manner of a fever, or in the manner of heat, the blood tubes, the blood vessels expanding of the blood vessels in the manner of like a fever or heat, and the body's rinkaku, which was not the silhouette. Shape? Yeah, it is silhouette. Contour, outline, making image. Yeah, so it's the image of creating the contours of the body, expanding the blood vessels in the manner of heat. So we heard a little bit of this before, and we saw this maybe a chapter or two ago. これがまず赤血操術の基本. This thing is like the first red blood manipulation technique foundation. So this is like the first foundation of red blood manipulation technique. ショーペン漏らした時みたいな. Okay, pee leaking out time like that, huh? Like when pee leaks out, like pee in your pants. まあ、それでもいい. Well, I guess even that is good. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so Itadori was coming up with his own image. 白蓮は血液を圧縮する技だから. Okay, so as for the 100 stiffenings, because it's a technique that does compression of red blood or blood fluid, because it's a technique that does compression of blood fluid, スポンジや紙なんかを一気に丸めて大きいものを手中に収める感覚を養うといい。アルミ缶や粘土なんかもありだ. All right, so you can see these images of what he's talking about here. A sponge and a paper wad or paper or whatever in one shot or in one thing, like rounding up, balling up, and a big thing compressing or pinning down in the middle of the hands. Shuchu. Yeah, in one's hands. Although I guess like shuchu ni osameru is to make one's own, but having it in your hands, yashinao toi. Maintaining, cultivating. Maintaining that sensation is good. So it's good if you maintain the sensation of like having it in your hands, a big thing that you're making round in one shot, like a sponge or paper. So you can see that's what this is here. And he's making a ball in his hands. And an aluminum can and nendo, that's clay. Also that probably exists. I mean, like you can also think of it like aluminum can or clay. Okay, so we the aluminum can, but we don't see any clay because I guess that would just look like a wad of gray stuff. All right. 長所教えるっていうのはこういうことだよ. Oh, okay. So Itadori is pointing to this guy and saying, so choso, as for the thing called teaching, it's this sort of a thing. Like, in other words, See, this is teaching. This is how you teach. 超新星は俺に聞け. Okay, so Choshinsei is the supernova, the super new star. Supernova. As for supernova, to me ask. So ask me about that. All right, and this is this guy saying, "Iya no shosen sekketsu sojutsu wa itadori ni totte tsukeyakiba. 簡単な止血や保護の仕方を押さえておいた方がいいと思う." Okay, so he's saying, shosen, which is after all. Yeah, shosen. After all, no. After all, as for red blood manipulation technique, for itadori, tsukeyakiba. Okay, yakiba. Attention, affectation. I know we've seen that word before. It's literally like a blade broiled with soy sauce, which is weird. Simple stopping the blood and combination, hogo, and simple seam or suture way of doing osaete. Pinning down direction is good, I think. Okay, so he's saying, yeah, so Choso wants to leap to using supernova. And this guy is saying, like, I think it's good if we go the direction of pinning down the way of using seaming or suturing, meaning like healing and stopping blood, simple blood stopping things. I guess I'm not sure why the pretension thing here. Or maybe like that's pretentious for Itadori, what he's thinking. Anyway, whatever. So he's just disappointed. All right. So that was the flashback. Some introduction to Itadori having gotten taught all those sorts of things. Now remember that the previous chapter ended with Sukuna. They made it through his domain 99-second thing. And then it ended with Sukuna doing this flame thing, opening up this kamino. So we talked about that last time. And what did we come down? That kanji was, the hearth, like opening the hearth, the stove. And there's a big flame appearing. So that's now where we are. He's unleashing this thing, and you can see, right, blah, 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 blah. So enjoy the art. And then now let's see what the language is about here. So we're back with this. A Dreaming Truth. Kaito Hachi no chori koutei o hatte, hajimete kamino no tobira wa hiraku. Okay, so Kai and Hachi's chori koutei hete. So experiencing the kote, the manufacturing, chori, the preparation process of Kai and Hachi. The first Kamino portal, as for that, or the start of the portal of Kamino will open. Okay, yeah. So as for the door, the portal of Kamino, which we just saw was flame or hearth. As for that opening for the first time, or to begin to open that, experiencing the, I guess, manufacturing process of preparation of Hachi and Kai. Those are Sukuna's two main attacks, right? This is like dissolve, and I forget what this one actually is. The English goes with cleave and dismantle and cleave. What did we say the Hachi was? Oh yeah, to like drain away. Anyway, those two attacks. The portal for the divine for this flame thing opens through experiencing the preparation through the preparation process of those two attacks, I guess. All right. 神の炎は火力に対して速度がなく効果範囲が狭い。Okay. As for the flames of Kamino, so as for the flames of the hearth, the Kamino, like concerning the fire strength, the speed not existing, but the effective range is narrow. Okay, so the speed doesn't exist, doesn't have a lot of speed, and the effectiveness range, or the range of the effectiveness, is narrow about the fire output of the flames of Kamino. これらを解決するため, in order to resolve those things, meaning these like the slow speed and the narrow range, in order to kaiketsu them, in order to resolve or solve them, Sukuna wa mizukara ni shibari o kashita. As for Sukuna, on oneself or on himself, he took a binding. Okay, so he did some sort of binding vow to resolve these limitations. How convenient. Okay. Kasu, in this case, is to inflict. Yeah, to inflict or impose a binding on himself. Okay, I think, well, okay, I won't bother. We saw something about a passing comment about like a binding at the end of the previous chapter. Ryoiki tenkai chu o nozoku tataichi de no kamino no jikko kinshi. So this, I guess, is the binding. Domain unfolding, domain expansion, in the middle of that, excluding. So excluding being in the middle of domain unfolding, domain expanding. The tataichi de. Tata. Oh, with, this is supposed to be with one versus many. Being the kamino, the hearth, is jikko forbidden. Execution forbidden. So I guess it's the forbidden of executing kamino when it's one against many, except when in the middle of domain unfolding. Okay, which his domain is open. Kono shibari ni yori, and due to that binding, Ryoiki Fukumatsushi no Jutsushiki o kakucho funjinka shita subete no bushitsu ga kamino to doyo no bakuhatsusei no juryoku o obiru. Okay. Due to this binding, the domain, the name of his domain, Hell's Kitchen or whatever, the techniques of that expanding, enlarging the techniques of the domain, and bunjinka, funjinka, like transforming to dust, everything every like living thing, every bushitsu, every living thing, every material substance, the flame and the same manner of explosive cursed energy obiru. Wearing, carrying, and trusting. Okay. Yeah, so again, due to this binding, it's entrusting cursed energy of like explosive in the same manner of the kamino to the substances, to material substances of everything, and doing like making them dust, transforming them into a dust and expanding the technique of the domain. Okay, that doesn't sound good. That sounds pretty destructive. Sarani, furthermore, Sukuna wa kekkai no shio wo ichijiteki ni henkou shi, 生物以外の出入りを制限、含ま水氏の出力を下げずに、効果範囲内を密閉した。Okay. Shio. Where use. Deiri. In and out. Coming and going. Singing. Mipe. Secret closing. Airtight. All right. All right. So, and furthermore, as for Sukuna, the barrier's method temporarily doing transformation. So doing transformation temporarily of the method or the resource or the means of the magical barrier, and the entering and leaving of other than living creatures, limiting that, and the domain's output without decreasing the output of the domain, the effectiveness range within that doing airtight. Okay, so making airtight the effectiveness range inside without decreasing the output of the domain, and limiting the entering and leaving of, I guess, like non-living things, like everything that's not living, and doing transformation temporarily of the way of the magical barrier. Okay. So it sounds like he was able to like seal everything in, doing making it airtight. Okay. And again, without lowering the output of his domain. So this all sounds very bad. Watashi tachi no kachi da. It's our victory. Our victory. We've won. So that's Ice Lady. There's Hakari, who was fighting her at the time. There's Itadori. All right. And then we get this thing. All right. And then we get this. All right. Let's see what we got. This is the narrator again. Samo bariku bakuyakuto. Oh boy. Okay. Kashita funjin wa ryoiki no sumizumi ni chirabari. Okay. So it's a thermobaric explosion. If you're not familiar with a thermobaric explosion, I guess we should go look this up. But basically, As for the dust that did transformation to a thermobaric explosion. So if you've ever seen this, right, fine amounts of dust can be ignited to cause a massive explosion. This is in essence what he's done, I guess, a thermobaric explosion. And it's the domain's Sumizumi scattering. Scattering to the, every corner. Sumizumi. Sumi is a corner here. Yeah. So scattering to the corners of the domain. As for that, the dust that was transformed and this thermobaric explosion. So again, fine dust. It's a long known thing, and it can be turned into a weapon, as Sukuna has done it here. It's in fact why grain silos were very dangerous, because they could spontaneously explode back in the day. Okay, Kamino no Netsu ni yori. Due to the flame or the heat of Kamino, that's again the hearth thing. Bakugo sen ni setsuna no koon shogeki wa shogeki ha genatsu to chokatsu de 領域内の生物を死に至らしめる。Okay. Due to the heat of Kamino, the hearth, the Bakugo Sen'i. Okay, that's like explosion, but the go there, that's like cart. Oh, thunder, right? Detonation. Sen'i. Detonation, transition. The detonation transition and the setsuna. We're getting a lot of technical stuff here. And the high heat, the high temperature of the setsuna at the moment of high temperature, the shockwave, the shokeki ha, and the decreased pressure and the super, I guess, increased pressure with that. So, right, there's going to be a big pressure wave and ballistic crash shockwave that transitions through. Due to that, living creatures within the domain basically all die. Shini itaru. Yeah, bringing about the death of living creatures within the domain due to all of that just happened. Shibuya ni oite. Oh, what does ni oite mean here? Like similar to, or? Yeah, regarding Shibuya, or like as for what happened in Shibuya, Makora o ichigeki de ohofutta Ryomen Sukuna no Saishu Ogi de Aru. Okay, so it's the like final Ogi, the final secret. Oh, we haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, Saishu Ogi. It's like the final mystery or secret of Sukuna that he butchered in one attack Makora in Shibuya. So Makora was the creature with the wheel and all that when Sukuna took over that, or killed Makora and was able then to summon him. Anyway, okay. So that was apparently, we'd have to go back and look and be like, oh, that's what he was doing. So, because I don't remember anymore. Okay, so there we go. We get the a panel of black here. What do we have? Tai Gojo Satoru Sendewa. As for in the battle against Gojo Satoru, Kekkai Jutsu no Yoken Henko o kasaneta koto to Koka Hani o shibari tsuzuketa koto de this actually still continues. So as for in the fight against Gojo, the transformation of the requirements, the Yoken. Yeah, transformation of the requirements of the magical barrier technique, like the event of building up, kasaneru, to pile up. Yeah, adding on, like adding the event of adding on the changing of requirements of the magical barrier technique in the battle with Gojo, in the battle against Gojo, and the event of continuing to bind the effectiveness range. Okay. 十分な威力が発揮できないとして神野を封印していた。Sufficient output or sufficient 威力, power, sufficient power through haki, which is like demonstration, not being able to demonstrate sufficient power, it's doing sealing of Kamino. Okay, so I guess this is all under the auspice of the battle with Gojo. Like, as for in the battle with Gojo, he was sealing away, I guess Sukuna had sealed away or was sealing away Kamino because he didn't have sufficient demonstration of it wasn't possible to have like sufficient power due to this and blah blah blah. And okay. Anyway, so I guess this is the reason for like why he's unleashing it now, although he didn't need it in the battle with Gojo, but whatever. All right, Yuji Choso. Okay, so that's Yuji. That's Choso calling out Yuji there. Nande? Why? Oh, okay. What's going on here? Okay. Hakiki. Oh, okay. Choso has done something here to protect Yuji, it looks like, and he's dying. Hakiki Boro is him starting to crack Pakiki, and Boro is like starting to fall apart, fade away. So that's why Itadori is saying why. Like, why did you do this or whatever? Dame da! No, it's no good. Okay, even though he's like vaporizing, he apparently can still talk. Shugyo de wa yakutazu de. Oh, I guess like as for in training wasn't useful. Like I wasn't helpful with training or wasn't helpful with the training. Sumanakata na. I'm sorry I wasn't more helpful with training. Ore wa kankaku ha dakara. As for me, it's because he's saying like I'm of the faction, the clan of sensation. Presumably that means like I go by sensation, and that's harder to teach or tell, I guess. The ha there means again like the faction, the party, the clan, sort of like that style or whatever. Anyway, Chol. So he's trying to say Chosen. Go. Okay, that's flames. So Choso has created some sort of bubble, which is what they're inside, and this is the outside picture. Again, it's as though they're inside a kiln with the flames going on outside. Kangaku hatte, saying sensation clan or sensation type. Yoku isugi daro. Well, speaking too much. Like you say it too well, right? To say that, like, isugi. Yeah, it's an exaggeration. You speak too much. You overstate it by saying you're kankakuha. So that's Itadori saying that. Okay. All right. This is some other sort of flashback. Or no. No, it's not black background. This may be like their... I don't know. We'll see. 反転術式は有事の方が飲み込みが早かったな. So as for reverse technique, this is Choso talking. As for reverse technique, Yuji's direction, absorbing, picking up was fast. So you were fast to pick up, take on, absorb, swallow, reverse technique. スクナが俺の体で反転術式を使ったせいだろう。実力じゃない。So Itadori is saying, Sukuna in my body, the fault or because using reverse technique, right? True strength it isn't. So Itadori is basically saying, I picked up reverse technique quickly or easily because Sukuna used it inside of my body. He uses sei here, which is usually more of a negative connotation, but okay. And he's saying it's not my true ability, my true strength. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. 変な気を使うな。弟はいずれ兄に超えるものだ. So it's fine. Strange sensation bequeathing? Oh, don't leave behind a strange spirit? 気を使う. To fuss, pay attention to someone else's needs. Don't fuss about. What else is this? Take in consideration. Okay. I guess like don't be weird about it. You don't have to say that. You don't have to give off a weird spirit about it. As for little brothers, at some point, Izure, they exceed their older brothers. Like that's what happens. Yeah, at any rate, that's what little brothers do. だからっていなくなることはねえだろ? Okay, that's why, or saying because of that, becoming nothing, ことはねえだろ. Oh, that's like a koto nai. I guess like he's saying like the event of becoming nothing doesn't exist. Like you're saying that's why, I don't know. He's basically, how to take this. だからっていなくなることはねえだろ. Yeah, this is something about like it doesn't mean like that you have to go away. You have to become nothing. そうだな。つくもにも謝らないと. Okay, and he's saying, that's right, you know. Also to Tsukumo, if I don't apologize, ... So implied double negative, like I must apologize also to Tsukumo. That harkens back to the battle with Tengen, where he was, and she kind of launched him out of there. Or not with Tengen, but with Kenjaku against Tengen. Anyway. So he's saying he should apologize also to Tsukumo. Anyway. Yuji sumanai na. So Yuji, I'm sorry, you know. Omae o matte hitori ni shite shimau. You, again, alone doing. And like regret. So I'm leaving you alone again. そんなこと考えてたのか?
Hello there.
That sort of a thing, thinking? 一番しんどい時、隣にいてくれたろう. In the number one shindoi times, which is just like tough. Yeah, and then the number one frazzled, worrisome times next to existing did the favor of, right? So you were next to me. You existed next to me in the number one hardest times or the number one tired times. それだけで十分だ. As for which is that, it's sufficient. So that's Itadori saying this to Choso. Okay, and then we're getting this Solka. Is that so? I see. All right, and then we're getting this image. This is presumably when they were containerized, the Blood Brothers. Ni saniru? Big Brother existing? Meaning like, Big Brother, are you there? Iru yo, existing. I'm here. Ani ja sumuyo. Big Brother, it's cold, you know? Daijoubu hanaso. It's okay, it'll be fine. Let's talk. Hanashite ireba samusa nante ki ni naranai. If talking, the cold or whatever won't notice. So basically, if we're talking, you won't notice the cold. Okay, so again, this harkens way back to when they were in these little containers. We never got a clear explanation about Yuji's relationship with them. We'll see if that ever gets resolved or whether what the actual deal is here. But anyway, I think we're saying farewell to Choso here. Ore tachi no 150年はYujiにとって数日だったのか? As for our 150 years, this is likely Choso talking. As for our 150 years, he's talking about him and the other Blood Brothers when they were just in these tubes. For Yuji, those several days were, question mark? As for our 150 years, those several days were for Yuji, question mark? Okay. All right, what do we have here? 重力を血液に変換し続けろ. So continue to do transformation of cursed energy into blood fluid. All right. I'm just noticing these pages are not in the digital. Oh, neither are these pages. Okay, interesting. So the digital picks up here. So the next 4 pages we see are not actually in the digital, apparently, in the English. So I guess what this means is these pages either were not in the original publication and were added later to add more detail, or there's something in here that they didn't want in the English version. This is interesting. Okay, so again, this is a command. Continue to produce, to transform cursed energy into blood fluid. Kessei seki, kessei seki de gaikaku o iji suru. Kessei seki, what is this? Kessei. This is Blood Star. What is this? I mean, it is literally seki, 3 sekis, stones. I have not seen this kanji before. Seki, seki, seki. What is this? Open-hearted? Many stones. Okay, using or with Blood Star many stones. Using that, kessei seki. Do EG maintenance, do preservation of the outer shell. Okay, so he's talking about that shell that he's this is Choso, I guess. Choso telling Itadori to do this and continue to maintain the outer shell, the Gaikara, using Kesseiseki. All right. Moeta soba kara seisei shiro. And do creation of the moeta soba kara, the burned up soba kara. Like soba shell? No. Do creation, I guess, as soon as after it's burned up. Okay, so I guess like as the shell gets burned up, like create it again or something like that. I don't know. You can kind of see something going on back there with the shell. Go. All right, we see some red blood cells. Ketchu no sanso o naibu ni hoshutsu. Okay, hoshutsu is to like release. No, shutsu. Yeah, do release, do emission to the interior parts, oxygen of like inside the blood. Oh, I guess, yeah. So release into the inside of the shell, I guess, the oxygen that's inside the blood. Okay. Yeah, the blood content. All right, and sanso should be oxygen. Yeah, okay. Inochi o kakete. Like gamble your life, risk your life, or basically like it's a high risk. Yeah, put your life on the line. Risk your life, put your life on the line, gamble your life. Ani toste no iji o shibari agero. And bind up, tie up the Iji as a big brother. The willpower as a big brother. I guess like Choso again is telling Itadori this, like basically bind up your will like you're a big brother. Be the big brother. Okay, now this is like fading out. Ni-san, big brother. Yeah. Okay, so these pages were not in the digital either, so presumably this was some amount of closure to finally see his other brothers again, right? Sumanakatta na futari tomo. So sorry, you two guys. Futari tomo. Sorry, you two. Iindayo. It's fine. It's good. Watashi tachi mo matte no osa wa o nii-san hitori ni oshitsuke chatta kara ne. Okay, we also Mate, like the youngest brother? Yeah. Youngest brother's care. We also, youngest brother's like assistance or osewa. Help, aid, assistance. Big brother alone or one person. Oshitsuke. Like we continued to push for help? Yeah. We did that. That's why. Because we continued to push for big brother's assistance of little brother, our youngest brother. Ani ja saikin ayamatte bakari janai ka? Big brother lately apologizing only, isn't it? So big brother, you've just been apologizing. That's all you're doing lately, isn't it? Rashiku ne zo ze? It seems like that, doesn't it? So datta kana? It is that way, or it was that way, I guess, wasn't it? Saigo no kotoba wa sa? As for the final words, Soldana. That's right, you know? It was that way, right? Oh. Okay. Now, as for the final words. Okay, so then this is his final words. This is where the digital picks up again. Arigato, Yuji. Thank you, Yuji. Ore no ototo ni natte kurete. For doing the favor of becoming my little brother. Arigato. Thank you. Okay. There we go. Oh, arigato, aniki, big brother. And remember, there was something way back there about him not referring to Choso as aniki. So there we go. And that's the shell finally dissolving, and it looks like the flames are subsiding. Yeah. So we get a which is again things falling away, falling apart. Minna, everyone, dareka, who, more talking. Jishi no hakuruma da to kikaseta nani ga atte mo yakuwari o matto suru buhin da to. Okay. Oneself, a cog, a haguruma of oneself, kikaseta, said or told, warned, am a cog of oneself. Okay. And whatever happens, something, even if it happens, whatever happens, roll matto suru, accomplishing buhin it is, buhin. I guess it's that part or accessory. I'm a part or an accessory that will accomplish my role no matter what happens, is like what I said. I'm a cog. I'm a cog of myself or whatever. Okay. Inochi o toshite jishu no kabatta ani ni mukuiru hazu ga. Okay, so oh boy, this is all rough. Inochi o tosu. Risking one's life, wagering one's life for covering me, for covering self. Kabata, protecting me. To big brother ought to do mukuiru, recompense. Okay. So like I ought to repay, or I ought to reward or repay to my big brother who protected self, meaning me, and risked his life. So this is Itadori's sort of thinking, even though these sort of things are normally the narrator. Men no mae no shodo to hiki hajimeta netsu to usui kuki ga sono kakugo no sonte o yusaburu. Okay. So before the eyes, shoulder. Okay, the scorched earth before the eyes, like beginning to pull. Iki hajimeta. Flame. Oh, and I guess the flame that's starting to abate. And the thin air. Okay, yeah, the thin air, the heat that's beginning to pull back, and the scorched earth before the eyes. That preparation of konte, that foundation of preparation, of being prepared, it's wavering. Yusaburu. Yeah, it's shaking. It's not steady. So yeah, so he's like, I'm a cog. I ought to do these things, fulfill my role. I should get revenge for my brother. I should recompense him for risking his life. But his preparedness, the foundation of his preparedness, is wavering with all that stuff that he's seeing as he comes out of this. Okay. And there's Sukuna. Mm-hmm. Sukuna. We still got a ways to go. This chapter's, oh, look who it is. What? Okay, we still have like 6 pages. They planned this well, right? Total. All right. So, all right, we get another flashback. Naruhodo ne. I see now, you know? All right, so flashback. All right, this is Mei and Todo talking. So, 私のカラスとミスタートロの術式で少なの領域内の人間を領域外へ脱出させる. Okay, so this is Mei talking, saying, I see now, you know? It's doing the escaping to the outside of the domain of humans within the domain of Sukuna using Mr. Todo's technique and my crows. So remember, Todo has this technique to switch positions with targets. So presumably that was the idea. I guess they'd have people trapped inside of Sukuna's domain, right? That whole airtight thing. But Todo might be able to sort of teleport them or switch places with the crows and people. I guess this is what they're planning. Sokushi no ryoiki da. It's an instant death domain. Sokushi is like instant death, I think. Yeah, it's an instant death domain. So talking about Sukuna's domain. Inochi ga tasukaru hosho wa nai ga. Life protecting insurance or guarantee, as for that, it does not exist. So there's no guarantee we can protect the lives or save lives. Yaranai yori wa maji daro. But more than not doing, it's mashidaro. It's preferable. Yeah. So basically, this is like the domain is instant death. There's no guarantee that we can save the lives, but that's preferable to try rather than do nothing. Yaranai. Mr. Todo wa ryoiki no soto ni iru wake dakara. So because the reason is, as for Mr. Todo, existing on the outside of the domain. So Todo will be on the outside, and then, that's the boogie oogie, the boogie woogie, which is Todo's technique or whatever. Boogie oogie no kouka hani o soto hiroga nakute wa ikenai. And the boogie woogie's effective range appropriately must widen. So double negative. If you don't widen it, it cannot go. But you must widen the range, appropriately, proportionately, the effectiveness range of the boogie woogie, because you'll be outside. And it's been a while since we've seen the boogie woogie, but it's like, what is that? Not Oogie. Yeah, this was like a weird thing. Playing and acting and whatever, injustice. It didn't really make sense. Jutsushiki taishou mo osoraku 4つ以上になる. Also, the target of technique, perhaps more than 4 will become. Meaning like, he's going to have to target probably more than four targets. Dekiru no kai sono ude de. Is it possible with that arm? So, right. どうかなだが, how is it, I wonder? Well, I don't know, but 感じるんだ. Feeling, sensing, ブギウギの鼓動を. So I'm sensing it, I'm feeling it, the kodo of the boogie woogie. Kodo is the beat, the pulsation, the throbbing of the boogie woogie. Okay. だが, however, この作戦をブラザーに知らせてはいけない. However, this strategy, this tactic, this plan to brother, that's Itadori, letting know as for that cannot go. So basically, you can't let him know about this plan. なぜだかわかるかなMizume? Why is that? Do you understand, I wonder? Mizume? kyoshinだね. So this is her saying, it's kyoshin, isn't it? Kyoshin is like resonance or, sympathetic vibration. And Toto responds, yes. 両面宿儺とItadori Yujiは二神同体だった. So as for Itadori and Sukuna, two hearts, same body were. So that's what they were. 過去形とはいえ、そのつながりは強く濃いものだ. As for the bygone shape, if talk about it, as for that like connection, it's strong and a deep thing. Okay. So that tsunagari, which should just be like binding or connection. Tsunagari. Yeah. That connection relationship is strong and a deep thing. And I guess this is like, even though it was a long time ago. Kakoke. Yeah. Even though it's past tense. All right. Jujutsu. Oh boy. Jujutsu Yasohachi bashi no ninmu wa Itadori ga torikonda yubi to Nora no yubi ga kyomei shita koto ga hikigane ni natta to kiiteru. Okay. All right. So in reality, as for the mission of this bridge, the Yasuhara Bridge, Itadori, absorbed finger, and the Nora finger, the event of doing resonance, that's another like crying together, it became Hikigane, became the trigger, was hearing. I heard it became the trigger. Okay, I don't remember what the bridge thing was anymore. That was a long time ago. So maybe someone else remembers and they can put it in the YouTube comments or whatever, but I forget what that is. Anyway, they're talking about there was some incident that maybe had example of this sort of resonance happening previously. And whatever. So there's almost this idea that I guess if they let Itadori know resonance, Sukuna will somehow know because they still have this connection. So that's why Toto is saying, don't tell Itadori this. Itadori kun kara muishiki ni ryomen Sukuna gawa ni sakusen ga moreru kanosei ga aru to, which is what Meimei is basically saying. So, from Itadori-kun, subconsciously or unconsciously, from the side of Sukuna, the tactics or strategy leaking out possibility exists. To, meaning it's like, that's what you're saying. Soyo wake da ne. Yeah, it's that sort of a reason. That's what you mean, right? Yes. だから、乙骨のプランも、実行は 直前にしておけと伝言を頼む. Okay, so yes, and that's why also Okotsu's plan, as for the execution of it, do it directly before, and like will rely on the dengon. We'll rely on the message, the verbal message, to do directly before. Also the plan of Okotsu. Okay. そして、in addition, ブラザーに作戦を伝えないということは、to brother, to Itadori, the plan not transmitting as for the event called that. So basically, don't tell Itadori. Again, brother. All right. 他言無用ね. All right, this is going to be some Yonji Jukugo, like other words not using or not necessary. Yeah, mum's the word, not a word to anyone. 他言無用. 任せて口と財布の紐の硬さは折り紙付きだよ. Okay, so like entrusted mouth? 任せて口. An entrusted mouth and a purse's strings katasa, like tightness, the tightness of purse strings. As for that, and like my entrusted mouth, they are like origami, maybe like folded together like origami. Origami tsuki. Yeah, okay. Guaranteed certified. That's interesting. I wonder what the origin of that. So yeah, it's guaranteed or certified as for the tightness of purse strings and my entrusted mouth. In other words, she's not, and there we go. Zipped close. Okay. Meimei to no sakusen. The strategy, the tactics with Meimei. Okotsu yuta ni doukou shi, jutsu shiki no chousei o okonatte ita koto. Okay, so it was preceding the chousei, the regulation, the coordination, modification of a technique, and doing same movement with Okotsu. Okay. Yeah, or doing traveling with Okotsu and proceeding with a modification, adjustment, regulation, coordination of a technique. That was the plan with Meimei. Okay, interesting. So there's something here still with Okotsu. Mikata no anpi? Anpi wa... Oh, safety welfare. As for the safety or welfare of allies, todo jishin ni mo wakaranai koto. Also to Todo himself not knowing event. Okay, so what that means is, right, so he presumably flipped the people that were in the domain still with Sukuna with the crows. But he doesn't know whether they're safe or not because he's in the domain now. Ryoiki no chushin ni ita Itadori to chousou wa hosoku dekinakatta koto. The event of not being possible to do hosoku, to supplement or complement the Itadori and Choso, who were in the center of the domain. So yeah, as for Choso and Itadori, who were existing in the center of the domain, complementation wasn't possible. That event. Okay. No, that's the wrong Hosoku. It's capture seizing, I guess. Is that right? Yeah, it's this Hosoku. Sorry. Not supplementing. It's capture seizing. I guess he wasn't able to get a hold of them because they were in the center, so too far away. Whatever. 今これらすべてを至る友人に伝える時間はない。As for the time to transmit to Itadori all of these things from here on or whatever, it doesn't exist. So Todo doesn't have any time to tell Itadori any of this stuff. Naze nara, why is that? Sumanai braza daga. So I'm sorry, brother, but Todo. Tabun daijoubu da. Probably will be okay. All right, I guess that's what he does have time to tell him. Tabun daijoubu nanda. Nanda na? So probably will be okay, right? Shinjiru, believing. I guess this is now Itadori. Like, he hears Todo say this. He's like, it'll probably be okay. Will believe. Ima wa shinjiru shikanai. As for now, believing only. Like, I have nothing to do but believe. I can only believe. Nothing else to do but believe. Naze nara, again, why is that? Ryomen sukuna wa ima ryoiki tenkai go no. As for Ryomen sukuna, right now, after the unfolding of the domain or expansion of the domain, gosh, biri. Jutsushiki shio ga konnan na joutai ni naru. Ni aru. The technique usage difficult condition existing. So basically, like, I can't do anything but believe. Why is that? Because right now, after the unfolding of the domain, Sukuna is existing in the difficult condition for using techniques. All right. So there we go. I think that's the end. Woo. What is this supposed to be? That's curse. Anyway, okay, that's the end of the chapter. Holy crap balls. Honestly, given how long that chapter was, or how much material was in that chapter, I'm surprised we didn't go longer. So that was it. That was 259. We'll continue next time, 260. Todo's on the battlefield now, and he's got some thing. We'll see what this is. And we're, a book and a half left. So not much left to go. We'll see what happens next time.